Welcome back, and today we are going to be taking a look at the World of Tanks 2.0 update. Quite a few things have changed, and of course you don't have to start playing in this tier 1 driving bathtub. You can choose a lot of new vehicles, and they actually just introduced tier 11. So now you can see that a lot of these nations actually got a new tier 11 tank, and there's a lot of these. There's about 16 of them, so feel free to check out the game and check out what there is to offer. Now I'm gonna quickly show you some changes, especially in the menus. It's very quick, it's very easy to understand now. Say I go to the T29, I get to see the upgrade paths and everything just like you are used to. It just looks a little bit more sleek. Some of these you might be familiar with. Other guys that are new to the game, or perhaps you haven't played in a very long while and you've just completely forgotten. It is just incredibly easy to understand all of these stats. Now it might look a little bit overwhelming, but there's a lot of these things that aren't really that important, and it's just there to give you a representation of what the vehicle might be like. Rate of fire, grunt to verse speed, all of these things are things that you might not actively have to remember actively, but it's good to shape a picture of the tank in a general fashion. And we also have the new way of looking at the armor. Now here you have spaced armor, which basically means it's stacked on top of something else. Say the track, it has to go through the track, which is another 20mm of the chassis. You see it in the blue under the 96, and it also takes into account that you are maybe looking at a slope. So if I look at it from this direction, you'll see that it now becomes almost impenetrable, opposed to when you look at it from directly the front. There is too much here to really show off to you, so I'm just gonna quickly go through everything. If you're scared you'll be overwhelmed and you don't want to drag down your team, or you don't want to go against people that actually know how to play the game, we now have a new option, and it's the story mode. When you go to the top left, you can select the battle mode and you can go to stories. It's pretty simple. All you need to do is just click it. The vehicle is selected for you. You just press to battle, and this is all about getting familiar with the game. You play against AI, you play against computers, and it's all a little bit more predictable. And it's also just a lot more repeatable. And this way it's great to familiarize yourself with the controls, with the mechanics, without real repercussions. You won't run into tryhards, you won't have repair calls, match timers, queues and stuff like that. You can just get into it at your own pace, and then when you're finally done playing this for a little bit, you might want to start actually playing against other players, because that's of course where the real gravy is.
Here comes our lovebirds. First round of Scotch tea is on me.
And who eats meat without any gravy? Now if this sounds good to you and you want to join World of Tanks, or perhaps you haven't played in a while, or perhaps you're already playing and you just think, well, I would like some free stuff. If you sign up right now, if you download the game and you start playing, you will get a lot of gifts simply for existing. It's honestly too much to count, so I'll just put it in the top right of the screen. But there's credits, there's premium time, but most importantly, you can choose 2 tier 10 tanks to just add to your garage for free. Now, if you don't like free stuff, then make sure to not use the link down below. It's in the description as well as pinned in the comment section. If you use the combat code, it's a promo code. If you haven't played the game before, you get the premium tank Cromwell B, 3 rental premiums, 250,000 credits, and 7 days of premium. Now, if you are a returning player, so you have played the game before, but you haven't in a while, if you then use the combat code, you'll get 3 days of premium as well, a camouflage, as well as a rental Centurion Mark 5-1, or 100,000 credits, the compensation, in case you already have it. Overall, a lot of stuff to pick up. Feel free to check out the game. A lot of things have changed. Matchmaking, balancing, the UI, and just overall the game doesn't feel the same as it used to do. So feel free to check out right now. Use my code down below and help yourself to a different game for a while. But enough yapping, let's actually take a look at some of these tier 11s. Here we have the British rank 11. The Contriver. Now you can tell it has 2 barrels, which of course means it can shoot, yeah, you guessed it, a whole ass twice. I think it's a reference to World of Tanks 2.0. But enough jokes. As you can tell, the tank is pretty mobile. It's technically a heavy tank, it's extremely versatile, and in the way that it plays, it feels a bit like a medium-ish heavy tank. And it's incredibly strong on the flanks. If you get yourself hulled down, if you get this turret nicely and just elevated over the terrain, you can be an absolute nuisance. And of course this goes for a lot of tanks, but the DPS on this thing is pretty damn solid. You have two guns, you can alternate, or you can shoot them both at the same time. And while the salvo fire mode is better at long range than something like the Kano, I would still recommend you to not really use it at longer ranges, as the dispersion suffers greatly. So if you are trying to play it as a long range support, the second gun really doesn't come into play other than just increasing the rate of fire, because you have a pretty low reload that still does 400 damage per shot. It's great for finishing off people, it's great for just shooting at multiple people and not being stuck in a reload for 20 seconds, because you can only fire once every so often. And that's why this is so strong and has so much map presence, because it can completely lock down the flank or make just everyone suffer greatly, because they try to rush you anyway. They can of course push past you if there's enough of them, because let's be honest, there are health bars and you can't really one-shot people very reliably, which means that, well, people can just bum rush your position if they want to trade in all of their HP to do so. It's something that happens, you should be familiar with it, and if you're not, you definitely will be. Sometimes people just don't make the best plays, they don't play clinical, they're not trying to win an esport tournament, and a lot of people are just playing this game casually, so expect sometimes that things don't go your way, when even though you play everything right and everything should go in a certain manner, when a lot of casual players come together, funky stuff tends to happen. And it's the same here. We start off in the flank, we do some massive damage, and then we just kind of collapse on the enemy team. The last 4 guys are completely bunched up in this corner, and my team, at least the team that is completely stuck on the Q5 line or the G5 line, they're a bit out of position, but they got the spirit and they are about to close in as well, so we might try to collect some extra damage and see if we can get over that 8,000 mark. We get shot at. I am not playing properly anymore. We are simply trying to get the most amount of damage in, because at this point we're just playing for the scoreboard. I already know we've won the match. I mean, we only lost 2 people for God's sake, so it's not really far-fetched idea to just rush in and get in as much damage as you can before the game finally ends. Now here we are playing the BZ-79. Now we might know about the rocket tanks. They are pretty funny. What they do is they give you a bit of a boost, and if you play other games with a tank, and you know that at the start of the game some people aim backwards to shoot their gun to get some extra acceleration. With this thing you just strap some fireworks to the back of the tank, and funnily enough it fits, because it's of course a Chinese tank. So here we are side scraping the kind of AGS thing. We peek, almost 700 damage, he gets sent to the Shadow Realm, and now we are gonna have a bit of a duel with an IS-7. Start off with the side scrape. I don't really want to get penned by that gun. I'm trying to bait out a shot. He has a pretty terrible reload. It pushes out just a bit too far, so we get a basically free shot at the lower plate, and I really don't want to get penned by this guy. So what are we going to try to do? We're going to try to tiptoe our way around this man. He's trying to ram. We engage the afterburners, we energy trap this man, and we shoot him directly in the engine. Now he is still reloading, and I'm trying to just survive and make sure that he wastes the shot. If he does that, I should be able to win. He shoots, we afterburn. Not sure where that round went, but it didn't go in, and that's the most important part. And now we actually have more health points than him. Gonna try to ram him. We don't have enough contact. Luckily, our teammate definitely does. He gets sent back to the hangar, and we go into the final match. And while this is not the Contriver, this is the Kano, or the can opener, and it plays a little bit differently, but it has the same properties with the double gun. And I just want to show you the salvo mode while we get another 8k damage game, and just show you what it's like when you are in a different kind of position. You are getting rushed and you're trying to stop the enemy from pushing into your team. Having 2 barrels, especially at this kind of range, is terrific, because you can dish it out incredibly quickly. Now you don't want to use the double fire mode all the time. You want to use it for absolute fat juicy targets that are giving you a fat juicy broadside, weak spot, back of the turret. It doesn't really matter if you can guarantee both shells hitting. It is just great for DPS to just peek out, do one shot and instantly do all the damage. It exposes you less vulnerable for getting shot at from different directions, and you don't have to peek out as much. And especially when there's this many guys looking at you, that is great to have. Now when they are getting to low health, of course you don't want to do this because it's a waste of DPS. You don't need to do 800 damage to a guy that might have 200 hit points. I might have done it here. We have a good opportunity here to do a lot of damage, but we shoot it straight into the ground. And now I'm pretty happy that I didn't use the salvo mode because I just would have wasted more of my time. We're trying to peek out, we're just trying to bait shots, and we're trying to shoot at people that have the first angle on us, so you don't get shot at by 6 people at the same time, and there might just be only one shell coming your way. And with the amount of exposure that we have, the chances of it going in are pretty slim, and you can tell that they keep shooting, they keep hitting us, but it's not actually doing any damage. At this point we've already blocked 3600 or 3800, sorry, it's hard to read from the small screen. And there's some more, 4160. Shoot again, do some damage. We are just wasting their ammo, we are wasting their time, and it means that our team can kind of flank around. Now unfortunately, yet again, we have the C, D and E line where people are kind of sitting behind and are waiting for the team here to push up. But they don't, because we are holding them off and we are single-handedly just stopping this push together with the IS-7, the AMX and the BZ-75. E100 here is starting to push up a little bit greedy, so we go to the salvo mode and we peek him for 937, while we yet again don't take any damage in return. Now we see the mouse in the background and I know he's kind of side scraping, but I'm expecting him to look at me, and if he does actually end up looking at me, I might be able to pan him. You can tell right now, not really able to, but the second he actually looks at me, we absolutely sauce the guy for another 400. Now this time we actually got shot on the side. And yeah, a little bit unlucky, but it's the first type of damage that we take, which means that our trades here are absolutely terrific. And you can tell right there, another fantastic trade. We are on 4000 damage and we've barely taken any in return. This is absolutely terrific efficiency and we want to keep it that way. They're starting to kind of loop around here and start coming all from the same direction, which makes our job a little bit harder, but luckily they are not really working together and they are not pushing at the same time. They are peeking one by one, they are only keeping track of their own reload, meaning that very often only one guy actually peeks out and shows himself, which means that we can get some pretty safe damage and kind of chip away at the enemy team. There's some guys that are half health, some are pretty low, they're pretty much a one shot, but we also have the IS-7 that is full health, which is gonna be a bit of an issue. We load up the salvo mode to peek out here and do massive damage to the E100. Unfortunately, slight miscalculation and the entire enemy team is looking directly at us. That is probably the worst trade that I've done in the last 6 years, but you know, at least we managed to get our double shot in and we managed to survive it. We are not a one shot, but we do have to be careful, because if we get 1 or 2 pretty good play cells, very big likelihood we are completely out of the game. So we want to play it a little bit different now. And I know that there are some weak targets over there that we can pen pretty easily and are pretty low health, like the MVY over there. Down he goes. And one gun less means a lot less DPS for them. So I do want to kind of get the numbers down, as I do in every game I play. Because when there's multiple people shooting at you, it's infinitely harder than when it's only one. You want to shoot a soft target here first. They are basically a one shot. But for now we go to salvo mode, because the weak target over there is a little bit too far away. And as we do, we completely botch the shot and send it straight into the house. It's a little bit unlucky. He definitely would have taken a good amount of damage, if not straight up died right there. And now we are kind of stuck in this deadlock where if I peek and he gets a good pen, I might just be screwed over and sent back to the Shadow Realm. But if I pen him, he also dies. So we are both scared to really peek. So I'm gonna try to use this bush and use the terrain here to see if I can actually peek out. Trying to use the 3D camera to look up over the house, look at where the E100 is actually looking and where the IS-7 is looking. Because I can't really side scrape both of them. Now here comes the IS-7 from my team. Now he's in a bit of a defilade, so the 2 guys over there can't really shoot at him. Hopefully he will be a bit of a distraction though. He's gonna push out a little bit. He's kind of baiting them into both looking over there. The E100 is getting sauced by someone across the map. Down he goes. And then we use our salvo mode to peek out and shoot the IS-7 right in the whatever that was. Can't really call it volumetric because, well, that's a different game. So here we load up the salvo mode yet again. Almost 900 damage. Absolutely beautiful. But this IS-7 is still basically full health, so we are trying to just sauce him together with my other IS-7. We have that mouse in the background and we do want to take care of him, but our entire team is now pushing up. We dwindled away their numbers, we slowly chipped away at their health pool, and eventually to end up with a whole ass 8,000 damage. Absolutely terrific. And that's basically all I have for you today. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to use the combat code down below to get some free goodies. And I'll see you all in the next one.